has advocated for legislation aimed at eradicating child labor in the country. The state NLC chairperson, Ms. Funmi Sese, made the appeal on Monday, saying that perpetrators of child labor should also be brought to book. Sese stressed that ensuring that children are educated would get them off the streets and guarantee their future. She said that NLC had made much effort to tackle child labor through advocacy and reporting to the appropriate authorities, including the Federal Ministry of Labour. People should respect the law of the land, and perpetrators should receive severe punishment to serve as a deterrent to others who may want to use underage children for child labor. Sese therefore called on the government to transmit the Labour Standard Bill to the National Assembly without further delay. The National Assembly should also speedily pass the bill into law so that it will enable more actions against child labor. Then there will be definite and better prospects for the children and the youths. Government should also support parents or guardians and empower them to be gainfully employed so as to be able to train their children. This is coming from the NLC chairperson, Sese. I would love to get your thoughts about this. Here's Royal Chief.
I think we have enough law in this country, and a lot of acts, the African Charter and all that guarantees the right of a child, the right to education and all that. And then even we talk about the new millennium goal and all that. I think it should be one of the goal 4 or thereabout. Talk about eradications of, talk about poverty and all that. Like in my own case, practically, in my own community, Kwawa, in Kana local government, children knows that I can't see you outside during school hour and you don't answer me while you are not in school. And I think if all leaders should do that, those children that we are sending out to Cork and to do that, we do reduce in our communities. Because it starts from the community. Let's look at the family values. The family values. The law I'm expecting that you should give is that don't give birth to a child you cannot train. Some families don't care about training their children. It's all about
I would love to cut you short on that. Yes. Are you saying that sometimes these parents, I know, there are some ways you can control childbearing, but you say don't give birth to children you cannot train.
Yes.
What do you mean in that instance?
Of course, it is the responsibility of parents to train up their children. But we have, when parents have failed, forget about the economic downtime, forget about the economic policy. It has been there, it will be there till tomorrow. It was there before I was born, it will be there till tomorrow. There's always hard time. But in as much as that, it is the right, it is to be punished parents that failed to train their children. It should be a law in this country that if you have a child and we know that you cannot, you should take responsibility of taking care of your children. I have children. And if I fail to train them, should I blame the government? You don't push everything to government. You push some things to parents. Parents have failed in taking care of their parents, their children. It is your social responsibility. It is your right. It is your birthright. So as you claim to be birthright of selling your father's land. Okay? Your father's land, it becomes your birth. You have right to sell your father's property. But it is not your right to train up a child that you give birth to. And it's also our right as leaders to look at the vulnerable in the society. Because they must be among us. They must be vulnerable. Most importantly, the disability among us. That they are vulnerable in their nature as God has kept them. How many of us are taking care of those people? It's not about making more laws. It's about implementing the existing law. We talk about early marriage. Some of our children, we push them out because the inability of us to train them. We believe. And anytime you push a child that you did not train well to another family, you're also bringing another disaster to that family, because that person will not be productive. That person will not get anything back to you as a parent. So the law should expand that if you have a child and you refuse to train, that should be a punishment for you. There should be a punishment for parents that refuse to train, and also punishment for legislators that their constituents are more vulnerable and you don't do anything about it, because we all elect our legislators to represent you, to do law, to make law that will be good for us. All these things are what we call legislative. I will not put it as their oversight functions of some legislators.
Okay.
Mostly in some states, like in Rivers State, that we have issues in our the people that we elect to represent us at the Rivers State House of Assembly. We have issue about them. Okay, but it is a social responsibility of every father to take care of the children.
Thank you. Let me hold your thoughts on that. Mufasa, we hear about parents sometimes. You see where kids hawk on the street. Sometimes I've seen situations where some kids have to sell before they go to school. It's not like the parents don't send them to school, but they have to make them sell, hawk, before they go to school. And so most of the times the parents say, this is how we cope, this is how we feed, this is the way we have been going on with this, and if this child doesn't sell this product, we will not feed. What is your thoughts about situations like that?
You know what, I really do not support that kind of arrangements. You know, it doesn't matter what you think you do. I mean, as a parent, you know, to eke out a living for yourself, that time of the day the child is meant to be in school, and you said the child should go and sell something before the child now comes back and get ready for school, the purpose of even going to school has been defeated. That's why I quite agree with the royal chief when he said that parents should learn to give birth to kids that they can take care of. I mean, this is a different kind of generation that we are in. The generation of the past is not what we're experiencing today. Knowledge, to a large extent, has a whole lot to do in the upbringing of a child, and that is what's shaping society. We have a lot of issues in our hands as a result in security and all of that, and we have kids who are, you know, on the streets all the time. They could, you know, become easily influenced because they have impressionable minds. You know, any little thing can just, you know, mesmerize them and they get carried away. So how do you now, you know, reconcile that with a situation where people are looking for children to recruit, to become criminals, to become bandits, to become terrorists and all of that? They become an easy pick. But when that child is in school, you know, the child gets to know certain things about society. The guy gets to know about the danger inherent to seeing certain things. You drive around today, you see those ones that are, you know, want to clean your windshield and all of that. At that when you look at them, they become so aggressive and hostile because of the environment they found themselves for such a long time. So for me, you know, going against child labor is actually not the first time I'm hearing this. Like you said, you have so many laws that, you know, that's already on the ground that is against child labor. But when you don't get people being punished for engaging children in that, you know, it becomes a free-for-all. Okay. So you don't just say things, you just see how we can get people punished for engaging in such activity. That's when it will serve as a deterrent to anybody that wants to now put a child into the labor market, even when that child is supposed to be in school.
And getting to the parts where they have to get punished, parents have to get punished for having more than they can cater for, like you said. We see situations where most of these families are commoners, uneducated, that feel like childbearing is a way of making the name continue in the family. We have situations where I don't want my lineage to die off. So you see, let's say they have 5 daughters, and that particular family wants a male child, and they keep bearing children. How do you how do you control situations like that? You know, how, I don't know, do you think education should come in, or sensitization should come in?
I think aggressive sensitization should come in. Okay, when I was growing up, my parents would take my meal to farm, and they would ask me when I returned from school, you are coming to farm, so you can take your lunch. Okay, then I didn't have lunch box. I didn't go to school with food. So for me to go back to farm, they're also training me how to farm. At the same time, after leaving school, you go back to farming and also fishing. In some cases, my father was a fisherman and also a farmer. And we have food to eat. We will not buy food. We will not buy fish. And then you have with the children you have, they assist you during free school hours. That is not a problem. even though you have 10 of them and they are attending school, at the end of the day, you use them for farming season, farming work. That is perfect.
Okay, okay. The problem here is there should be family planning.
There should be family planning.
No matter the number of children you have,
yes,
you should be able to cater for them.
You cater for the children God has given it to you. I know it's God that gives. Like some women will say that, oh, God don't give me again. No, it's God that gives. Yes, it's good for God to give it to you. Also pray for God and also try your best for you to cater for those children. It is the right of those children to be taken care of. Like in my own case, in my own community, which I'm advocating, we have the law, we have the traditional law that said if you did not marry the particular female and you have a child with that child didn't bear your name. Okay, and because of that, some men have used that advantage and say, okay, since it's not bearing my name, I will not train you. It is illegal and it should be condemnable by all human thinking, that a child you give birth to, either you bear your name or not, you should train them. And once you refuse to train them, there should be a punishment for that. And if we will start identifying children, like as I'm doing in my own community, I have identified children that will be unable to ride WAEC. Let me know how many of them, and let's see how I can come in to assist. Okay? Because I discovered that so many of them, when you want to encourage them further, they will tell you, we did not ride WAEC. Silently, and nobody knows about it. And the statistic of children out of school keep increasing. Leaders doesn't look. So the people talking about laws should also talk about humanitarian service to the society. It's also reduce most of these laws and making most of the laws instead of us implementing the existing one. Let us discourage out of school children and those that are hawking on the road. What do? We also practicalize ourselves. We don't have much. The one we have within your environment, how many children are you seeing within school period that they are hawking? Enroll them into school. You see that most of these children, they can become commissioners and president of this country.
Okay, quickly, Mufasa, to implement this Nigerian Labour Congress in Lagos State chapter called for the eradication of this child labor, and then let's say it gets eradicated. How do you think they can implement this to the success of the people? Because considering the situation, like I said earlier, referring to the economic value of the country as it stands, most families can barely feed, and then I stated about making your child hawk to get to have something to feed with at home. How do you think the government can come into this situation to implement a policy or something that will be to the benefit of those people that are affected?
Well, first thing first, we're talking about foundation. I'm really not interested in when the child gets to the age of attending university. The government can just simply make it compulsory. There are states who have made it compulsory, but I don't know how far they've been able to follow it through and through. Free and compulsory basic education.
Okay.
That is the only way. So that the moment it has been implemented that a child has to be in school, whether the child has money or not, the government provide uniforms, provide books, provide tuition at the basic level, which is very, very important. Basic education, very important. Primary, secondary. Then after which the child then has attained the age of either 16, 17, the child can either go, acquire skills. Then the parents who can afford university education or polytechnic education can do that. But that basic stage, where the mental state of that child is still very fragile, the government has to take that sole responsibility. They're talking about, parents. We, as growing up, we helped our parents to equally, go into one or two businesses as a child. But it is not during school hours. That is what they should understand. When you come back from school, like the chief rightly said, they go to farm. We went to farm in our days, but our parents made sure that you must go to school. Basic education, very important. So what the government should do is to enforce, apart from making pronouncement, they should enforce that basic education is free and compulsory. The moment they see you outside within the schooling hours, as a parent, you will explain to government why that child is at that particular point in time. Then as for those, conclusion, as for those who may not have parents, because like you said, there are some who are orphans and all of that.
Yes.
There are social welfare schemes that can handle that.
Okay.
But the only way you can find out is when you engage that child, find out where the child is at that particular time, then you can take it up from there as a government.
Thank you very much.